Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Handy handle tips here. Just like I promised, I wouldn't leave it 11 days for the next video. I think it's about 4 days. A little bit of a caveat with this video though, it's not going to be really about a handheld per se. As the title suggests, it's about the Last of Us factions, which we've recently heard has been officially cancelled. I've got a lot to say on the topic and a lot of questions that are unanswered that I think they need to answer. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So first I'll start off with reading the statement. We'll go through it bit by bit and we'll kind of break down what they're saying and the questions that the things that don't make any sense to me, and we'll kind of go over those things. So first, an update from The Last of Us Online now. This is the first time they've called it The Last of Us Online. It's always been The Last of Us Factions. We realise many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on that game. We know this news will be tough for many, especially our dedicated The Last of Us Factions community. We have been following our multiplayer ambitions ardently. We are equally crushed at the studio, as we are looking forward to putting it into your hands. We want to share with you some of the background of how we came to this decision. The multiplayer team had been in pre-production with this game since we were working on The Last of Us Part 2, crafting an experience we felt was unique and had tremendous potential. As the multiplayer team iterated on their concept of Last of Us Online during this time, their vision crystallized, the gameplay got more refined and satisfying, and we were enthusiastic about the direction in which we were headed. In ramping up to full production, the massive scope of our ambitions became clear. To release and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put all our studio resources behind supporting post-launch content for years to come, severely impacting development on future single-player games, so we had two paths in front of us. Become a solely live service game studio, or continue to focus on single-player narrative games that defined Naughty Dog's studio heritage. We are immensely proud of everyone at the studio that touched this project. The learning and investments in technology for this game will carry into how we develop our projects and will be invaluable in the direction we are headed as a studio. We have more than one ambitious brand new single player game that we are working on at Naughty Dog. We cannot wait to share more about what comes next when we are ready. Until then, we are incredibly thankful to our community for the support throughout the years. And that's it. So, first thing I want to point out is they said that they had two paths to take. One path was to become a sole live service game studio, or continue down their path of being a AAA single player game studio. Now, I don't believe that for a second that they had those two paths to take. I can't believe it at all. I really do not believe that this game would have required the entirety of Naughty Dog to maintain. How much content does this game need? How much content can Naughty Dog produce as an entire studio for one live service game? Does it really take an entire studio like Naughty Dog to keep a live service game alive? I don't think so. You look at the likes of like PUBG and Fortnite, when they actually released, they had nothing in terms of content. PUBG had literally nothing for like the first year, more maybe. I remember playing that game for like 6 months and there just being nothing, just like stability updates. Like there were like 4 weapons or whatever that were in the base game. There was absolutely nothing. So why can't, if the gameplay is good and the core mechanics of the game are good, people are going to stick around, and we all know the gameplay of Last of Us Part 2 is fantastic. So if you keep that base core gameplay mechanics, this game will stick. You don't need the entire studio of Naughty Dogs producing content for this game. I don't buy that for a second. And the fact that they were comfortable enough to talk about this and reveal it on stage with Jeff Keighley, it's been in development for 4 years. They promised us that we would see the game this year, and now it's just done, canned, gone. Was Bungie's review and comment on it? Because Bungie's apparently had a look at all the live service games in development at PlayStation Studios, and apparently they said that this game lacks stickiness. Is that what put the nail in the coffin for this game? Because I can't believe that either. Bungie being the studio that we actually know them truly to be, which is not hitting targets, releasing Dogwater DLC, and paying off their staff members, whilst the C-suite enjoy pay rises. Bungie, essentially without PlayStation, would be probably in liquidation right now. And they're telling a studio like Naughty Dog that their game lacks stickiness. Would Bungie have poo-pooed Fortnite and PUBG when they launched? When PUBG launched, it had nothing. Would Bungie have said, nah, there's not enough there. It's not sticky enough? And the success story that was, I know things changed now. The game was sold and it's a bit worse now. But the game was massive with nothing. Content-wise, PUBG had nothing and it was huge. So I cannot believe that. And with them, they had two paths to take. What, did they just wake up today thinking, oh, we're going to need our whole entire studio to maintain this game. We better just trash can it. Did they just realize that today and not 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? They just realize that now? That's either the height of mismanagement or bullshit. It's one of the two. How can they let this project get so far? It's been 4 years. This project was, I would bet you, it's been in production since towards the end of the development of Last of Us Part 2. They said that it was in development since The Last of Us Part 2, but I think towards the end of that it was probably in development. So I reckon we know it's been in development for 4 years. I think it's been developed for 5 years, 4.5 years. Now, you can make an entire game from scratch, usually 5 years. They're using pre-made assets from Last of Us Part 2 and pretty much a world that's already built for them. Characters are already built for them. That takes off so much time. Gameplay's already built for them. They have the bulk of the game. So what's the problem? With having all those assets and all those pre-made worlds, and you take that and then you develop it further for 4.5 years, what? And it's going in the bin? And with the day before being the number one wishlist game this year this year. Anyway, it was like top wishlist game this year, definitely on Steam. It really kind of cements to me the hunger for people for survival zombie multiplayer games. The hunger is there for them, and it sucks that Naughty Dog can't see that. I really think this game would be fire, even if they just took this game, stuck the Last of Us map and The Last of Us world into a battle royale. Maybe bolt on or an extraction shooter, or bolt on like a tactical 6v6 shooter, just like the factions in The Last of Us 1. Bolt on a couple different game modes and just release it for free. Have some cosmetic skins in there. I think it would be huge. Could you imagine I know I keep referencing PUBG or Fortnite's Battle Royale. Can you imagine The Last of Us Battle Royale with the zombies in the map and the great kind of all the great buildings and kind of the great environments that are in the game already that you can just build off of and kind of bolt them on like Warzone did. You can just bolt on all these different maps. And you're going out through the world, collecting your tape and your scissors, crafting things, leveling up your skills, or finding blueprints for different weapon attachments. You can find a workbench, upgrade your guns, the range and the reload speed. All this stuff that I'm hearing about, the roguelike mode for The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, kind of funny. I have a podcast about it, and what they were saying about it, it's all very positive, and they just kind of wish it was longer. It sounds amazing if they can take everything they've got in that roguelike mode and just put it into this. You're telling me after 4.5 years you can't just do that? Like, what exactly were they aiming for, and what were they? I just wanted more information about what they were actually going for with The Last of Us factions or Last of Us Online. Like, how massive was this ambitious project? And why can't they just still give us a multiplayer game. I'm struggling for words on. Maybe they're being too ambitious. Maybe they're so worried about this valuable IP that they have. They're so worried about ruining it. I really wish they'd just take more risks. I think if they gave us what I was just describing, I think it would be huge. I think it would be massive. And with the 4.5 years they've spent developing this, they could have all these different aspects of all these different game modes all into one game. They could have the roguelike, expand off the roguelike mode. Give us the kind of that battle royale mode in the Tilu world. Give us a extraction shooter or a co-op extraction shooter with, a 6v6 kind of tactical shooter. You could have all these game modes. They could do this so easy. They probably already have all this stuff already pre-developed. But they're just so worried it might be a 7.5 out of 10. They're so worried about it. Anyway, guys, it's just so sad that you've wasted 4.5 years of development time, of money. It's beggars belief. It makes me wonder what actually happened. Is the reason the Bungie's thumb down? Is the reason Jim Ryan? Is this really, after 4.5 years, them just realizing, oh, we're going to have to turn into a solely live service game studio if we continue with this after 4.5 years? You didn't realize that before? So I can't buy that at all. Yeah. So guys, leave your opinions in the comments. Are you happy about this? Do you just want Naughty Dog just to continue Last of Us single player and no multiplayer? Or are you sad there's no multiplayer? Do you think it could be great? I certainly think it would be awesome. I really think it would be great. I think it would be... Anyway, I'm done. I'm done thinking about it. I'm just so sad that, all this time and effort, all this great Last of Us content that we're never going to see now. And they've just deleted it from the internet, essentially. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I know this has not been a handheld video, but it's just something I'm really passionate about. I love The Last of Us. I love PlayStation. And yeah, I'm sure most of us handheld gamers out there love these same things too. Anyway, yeah. So, until the next one, guys. See you then. Bye-bye.